From the Beaver County Auto Studios, we're doing a real quick Daniel Sprong trade wrap-up here. Pittsburgh Hockey Now and Pittsburgh Sports Live. Hi, I'm Dan Kingerski. So let's dive straight into the meat and potatoes of what should be a minor trade for both teams, but there's a lot of angst and emotion that's making this a much bigger deal than it really is, especially for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, let's start with Daniel Sprong. In 42 career games, the Sprong man had just, 9 points. 4 goals, 5 assists, no goals this year, just 4 assists. Before we continue any further, let's knock down one fundamental tenet that seems to have become almost concrete groupthink, that Mike Sullivan denied Daniel Sprong a chance. Well, it is true that Mike Sullivan didn't play Daniel Sprong very often and didn't feature him in prominent roles this season. Those are facts, but the why is very easy to ascertain. The why is that Mike Sullivan and the coaching staff, it wasn't a dictatorial decision, believe me, when I tell you that really, if you had to poll the entire Penguins organization, the coaching staff would have had a majority opinion there pretty convincingly. They didn't think Daniel Sprong could handle it. And it wasn't because Daniel Sprong made one mistake in a game and got benched, or if he needed to play to learn and grow. Daniel Sprong was given plenty of chances, far beyond what you see when you turn the TV on at 7 p.m. to watch a Penguins game. All of the chances in those games, in practices, all of those count. Preseason, training camp, when he was with Sidney Crosby. Believe me, the coaching staff would have loved to have seen Daniel Sprong step forward and become the scorer that everybody, including Daniel Sprong, hoped he could be. The reality is it didn't happen. And it's not because Mike Sullivan was holding him back. I appreciate that emotional reaction, but please know that was not the case. Now, further evidence in that, look at the young players the Penguins have developed over the past several years since Jim Rutherford and Mike Sullivan came into being. You go through Connor Sherry, Brian Rust, Jake Gensel, Dominic Simone. They all passed their entrance exam. They got a chance in preseason, in practice, even in some games, on the third and fourth line, mind you, and they passed their exam. That was the one thing that Sprong never did. He never passed his entrance exam to prove a basic mastery of the basic skills. And so here we go, the big trade, straight up Sprong for Marcus Pettersson. The Swedish defenseman, 6'3", just shy of 180 pounds. Look, the kid can skate very smoothly. He's one of those guys, he's big, he doesn't look that fast, but he gets to where he's going. He's also got a sharp pass. Now, that can be a good thing or a bad thing, the way the Penguins are playing. Putting the puck on the stick of the forwards lately seems to be a dangerous play, but snark aside, Pettersson can play in the NHL today. Whether the Penguins keep him up because they've got such a stacked blue line already or send him to Wilkes-Barre in a few days, yet to be seen. Subset to this entire conversation, if the Penguins do keep Pettersson around, they very easily could begin a major shakeup because he's a left side, left-handed defenseman. He's been playing 14 minutes a night with Anaheim, and by all accounts, they weren't displeased. It's only his second year in North America, his second professional season after a few in Sweden. And you know how the Swedes develop defensemen. There's just something in the water over there. Big goaltenders, mobile, puck-moving defensemen who aren't that physical. And if he can handle the rigors of the Western Conference, he'll handle the Metro Division just fine. So this is actually, boil it all down, a home run for Penguins general manager Jim Rutherford. He was a big Sprong believer. He was Sprong's rabbi in the room in the Penguins organization. So you know if Rutherford made the move, it was time. And he got a great haul in return. Both players have big ceilings, high ceilings. If one or both hit, both teams are happy. Let's just say, for example, let's take this 2.0 now. Let's say Sprong does score 15 goals in Anaheim, and Pettersson winds up in Wilkes-Barre. Was that a bad trade? No, because in this moment, actually, the Penguins got a higher value. The Penguins got a top 6 defenseman for Daniel Sprong. Think about that. And so if Sprong does happen to turn the wheel and it all clicks, well, good for him, good for Anaheim, but it doesn't make the trade bad right now because based on all of the available information, the Penguins got a pretty substantial haul back, so keep that in mind as well. The Penguins in Colorado Tuesday night, our first chance to see the kid, perhaps, although the Penguins' defense, believe it or not, has not been too bad. It's been the forwards letting them down, except for a couple of Flyers breakaways in which the Flyers flew the zone on Chris Letang. That won't happen twice. So we'll see the Colorado, very talented Colorado, and the Penguins on Tuesday night. From the Pittsburgh Sports Live studios, brought to you by BeaverCountyAuto.com, I'm Dan Kingerski.